Hello everybody, this is Graham, also known as the Collector 75. Welcome to another Transformers review. Well, this is actually one of my kind of KO reviews, this one. I don't know if it's exactly a KO review because I'm not quite sure if this one came out before the original Shockwave, because obviously this is a... well, it's actually called the Robot Fighting Gun, according to the box. I got this from a guy in Italy. It cost me about 50 quid with postage, which weren't too bad actually. I'd seen this one about 4 years ago actually on eBay, and I really wanted to get it then, but unfortunately eBay decided to have one of its funny little moments right at the end of the auction, and when I usually bid on an item it's usually in the last 10 seconds, and it just went decidedly slow, and so I didn't even get a chance to bid on it, which is my own fault I suppose. Yeah, so I'd seen it on eBay before. It was just the loose robot, funny enough, but it was the first time I'd ever seen it, and it looked damn cool actually, if you want my opinion. I missed that one for about 25 quid, something like that, and then I just kept my eye out over a few years, and it's the first time I'd ever seen one again, and there was actually two on there. There was one from America, I think, I'm not quite sure now, but it was up to about £30 actually, and it was broken. It had the his end of his gun there broken off, and it had another bit missing. I think it had the viewfinder, but so I couldn't understand this, and I saw this one from Italy, and it was only like £20 more with postage, so... and it was pretty brand new in the box, and it, for the most part it is, but I'll come to that in a second. Let's just have a quick shift at the box. It's quite a plain old box really. As you can see, it just says Transformable RG908, probably means nothing at all to be honest with you, and just has a picture of the robot on one side and his alternate mode, and you spin it over and it's got a picture of the gun, and another picture of the robot there. What I do find amazingly funny is it's got his various modes. It's got his robot again, and then the gun emplacement, and then you've got this double barrel mode, which is, I don't know, just his gun there and his hand over there, which is a bit strange. But other than that, that's the box for you. There's not really much in the box. When I first got this, I actually was so surprised how small the box is, considering how big the box is for the original Shockwave. Yeah, so I was a bit worried that I'd bought something that was actually smaller than the original one, but it's just the way it's packaged in that box to get it in there. But let's bring on the figure itself. It's not too bad. It kind of reminds me of the, I believe it's called Galactic Man or Galaxy Man, I can't remember the original one, but it was by Radio Shack. I think he's also known as the Shockwave version, which is just the original Shockwave, but just in the grey colours. But this is actually different because this has some different moulded bits. As you can see, the most notable difference is the actual barrel here. As you can see, instead of being basically just the same sort of shape as the original gun, it now has the inverted end there, which looks kind of cool. Has this as well, which is kind of like a viewfindy type thing, or sights, whatever you call them on a normal gun. But does double up so you can hold it in robot mode, which is pretty cool, I suppose. As you go along the gun, he's got the red viewfinder at the back here. As you can see, I've got a battery in there. I'm not going to close this battery case up because on my original Shockwave, as soon as I'd done that with the battery in it, I couldn't get it off and I broke it. So I've got to look out for a new battery cover for my original Shockwave now. I'm a bit gutted. He does have some missiles on the back here. These are just moulded into the actual plastic, so they don't come off or nothing. And he's got some different mouldings just there on his legs. And just a few different sort of motifs really. He does have another major difference, but we'll come to that in robot mode. He does have his usual sounds, and he does work actually, it's pretty cool. And it does light up in the front. You can just about see it in there. It's quite a bright day, so it naturally shows up too well. You can change it, so he has the really irritating one. That is damn irritating, that one. But other than that, it's your usual Shockwave. Let me just bring on my original Shockwave, just so you've got a bit of a comparison. So this is the original Shockwave. As you can see, the original barrel is much more uniform, and that one has the inverted look. I do prefer Shockwave, if I'm honest with you. And as you can see, this guy just has some different panels on the side here, and especially like, which will become the robot arms. He's got a motif there. And this one has a different one. Let me just bring it a little closer so you can see that. And the hose is a little different. This one looks a very strange hose, and these bits need removing, to be honest, where this was just a very plain hose. Other than that, not real much difference there. Anyway, let's transform it. It has exactly the same transformation, so I'm not going to worry too much, but I have to be a bit careful because this is dead old, to be honest. One problem I did have, and I don't know why, the quality on this one isn't isn't brilliant. Does have a few issues. The feet, one of these feet I can't actually get away in alternate mode, so, well, especially for reviewing it made it quite handy because it would stand up then. Anyway, so you extend the legs, rotate this back, and then just bring the legs down, separate them slightly, and then you just got to do the old thing where you've got to be careful how you get it into position there, because it's easy to break. It's probably more easy to break on your Shockwave because he has a few tabs, meaning you've got to move the legs in certain positions to get them round, but this one doesn't seem to have that, which is probably a bonus. Anyway, then you just separate the arms. These are very stiff arms actually. And we're going to bring these down. I'm going to bring the gun round. Rotate this arm. You are supposed to rotate this arm as usual. This leg is a little finicky. And just rotate his little ears up. And there we have this Shockwave. I don't know whether I'm going to call him Shockwave. I did put a G2 logo on him there just to give him a bit of differential. If it had been a bit more brightly coloured, I would have probably given an Autobot logo and called him like a shattered glass Shockwave or something like that. But I didn't see the point, not really, for this one. Right, so there we go. Differences in this mode. Well, you've got the barrel here. With that, he now has a little hole in his fist, so you can have him holding that. I don't know if it's supposed to be some sort of shield or anything, but it doesn't really do it for me, if I'm honest with you. I do have another KO Shockwave where I believe you can attach it to his arm, some sort of cannon, which, if you want my opinion, is actually pretty cool. What I would like to have seen maybe is where you've got these little tabs here that hold the arms together in gun mode. If they'd have put a couple of holes there and you could attach it just here, that would have been pretty cool. But other than that, you know, he's alright. As you can see, one of the biggest differences is the actual chest. Instead of having the chest that Shockwave had, and I'll bring him on right now. So there he is, and let's bring him on. Here we go. And so here is the original Shockwave. As you can see, the chests are very, very different. If I'm honest, I quite like this one, but I do prefer Shockwave. I think he just edges it, especially the colours as well. I think the purple definitely suits Shockwave a lot better. I like the purple, but then again, the red gun is actually pretty cool. Of course, I do prefer this where they gave him this trigger instead of that really dodgy trigger, because that really does look pretty weird. If you look on the box for this fella, you can see the front of this guy. Let me bring his head a bit closer here. Let me just raise my camera up. Let me just hold it a second if I can disconnect it from this. There we go. If I just show you this very quickly, there we go, if it will zoom in. You can see his head now has a bit of translucent red plastic in there. And on the box, it has a little light behind that lighting up. But there's no light in there that could ever light up, which is a shame because that would look pretty cool. And then we move to Shockwave, and he has the usual gold paint motif on him there. I don't know which is better, but I do probably prefer Shockwave, to be honest. But saying that, I think this is actually a really, really good. I would like to call it a knockoff, but it's not really a knockoff, is it? But as a different version of Shockwave, I think it's alright. I would have preferred not a grey colour though. I think the grey is a bit dull and a bit boring, if I'm honest. But other than that, it's not a bad figure. Was it worth the money I paid? Well, I better say yes, really. Right, well, there you go. This has been Graham, the Collector 75, with another KO Transformers review, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.